What up? What up? What up?
Hello, lovely people in the world.
Party people, party people, party people. Ow, ow.
It's a no for me.
Damn, sis, you ain't gotta match my energy. It's all good. I'll party on my own.
Yeah. If you're saying those things, I'm gonna go with that.
You ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit.
Hey, that's my song.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Like I Was Saying podcast with your girl,
Velvet and
the one and only Fee Baby on the ones and twos.
threes and fours.
Give me some more.
Amen. Hopefully y'all are having a great day, a great week, had a great weekend. Hopefully your weather was better than mine. It's cold as fuck.
Yeah.
This cold weather is shit. Like, this is the weather supposed to be in December, November. No, March, April. I need warm weather.
Yeah, I'm the fuck over it.
I don't like it.
Over it. Like, I feel like I currently have a raw nose from it, like, slightly running all day, and I'm fucking over that. I'm like, it should not be. I'm knocking on April's door, and I currently have a raw nose from
this week.
Yes, and my nose is literally just fucking raw.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have those particular problems.
Bro, ain't nothing worse than a fucking raw nose.
It is, and I don't want it. So
ain't nothing worse than that shit. It's annoying. It's inconvenient. It hurts. I gotta go to sleep with Vaseline on my nose tonight in order for it to be cute and healed tomorrow.
Well, that's a lot.
Nothing makes you want to rub your nose more than having some shit on it.
Like here? On
the, and it like heals the skin.
Interesting. Never had those problems.
Yeah, it's always the bottom little bridge part of my nose. It's always super raw.
Does the nose ring not help with that?
No,
like, does that make it worse?
Oh no! It doesn't help or hinder. It makes it indifferent for me, honestly.
Okay. Y'all make sure y'all do y'all taxes because tax day's around the corner and you don't want to get caught. Okay,
right?
You don't want to get in trouble.
Apparently, it's the 18th. I gotta get my shit in gear.
Yes.
Submit them for they come for me.
Girl.
Child.
Because doing taxes make my head hurt. I really need to take the tax class because I really don't be feeling like I know what I'm doing. I just feel like we shouldn't have to do it anyway. Like, y'all already take money out during the year. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I don't. I'm so the fuck over it. I feel like I pay enough.
During the year. You take money out my check during the year. Leave me alone. That should be it.
I think taxes frustrate me the most one of two times, or both of these times. One, tax season, they piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
The only other time that I gripe and bitch about taxes is when there's a lump sum of money coming my way.
Mm-hmm. Like
a bonus. Or like, let's say there's some type of winnings that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether that be lottery. And it's just like, that's bullshit.
I agree. And I also, like, I don't like it when I put money into a 401k. That's my money. But y'all tax it. And then, guess what? You tax it again when I do taxes.
Yep.
Why? That's my money.
Yep.
So that means y'all should just tax it one time. Why? God, y'all just get on my damn nerves.
That's why
get on my nerves.
I have them take my taxes out before they go into my IRA. That way, or my 401k. That way, when it's time for retirement, it don't get taxed again. So I've already paid my taxes on it.
You better hope, because you know they like to change laws.
Whatever. I told you I can't stand you. You always want to say, well, bitch, everything in life is subject to change.
Fact.
Because night's going to become day in a little bit.
That's a fact.
Just wait around for it.
Facts.
I fucking hate you.
But I'm just saying, like, they just take money and more goddamn money.
Taxes is fucking bullshit, dog.
It is.
It's just bullshit.
It just bothers me. So I'd be like, dang, okay, I gotta pay this tax, and I gotta pay that tax. I gotta pay tax on food, gotta pay tax on this.
I gotta pay tax on shit I own.
Yes, why? If I outright own a vehicle.
We need to get the fuck out of Virginia. That's part of our problem, is that we're in a fucking commonwealth. Because other states, depending on, you don't owe a personal property tax.
I don't understand why we get taxed for that too. Like, that's
fucking
my
commonwealth.
property. I own it.
It's the Commonwealth. They will get you for everything they fucking can.
It's killing my pocket.
Girl.
Because I just looked today and I was like, oh, what?
Take me to North Carolina.
That's a fact. I almost bought a house there. It wasn't because of taxes, because of the land. Because I was like, ooh, I have big ideas that I want to do, X, Y, and Z. And there, for the house that I bought here, I could get a mansion in North Carolina.
I'm about to talk to my employer and be like, look, I know y'all require a 2-3 in the office, but like, what if I'm not near the office no more? You gonna fire me?
You come on with me?
Hey.
Work from home permanency.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just there's that. But anyways, that's our little thing. But just remember, do your taxes, because you don't want the IRS knocking at your door.
Facts.
Because that's something I don't want. Not ever. Whether I owe or get money back, do them taxes. Because I ain't got no time.
Facts.
Because you ain't got no time for it.
Yeah. Well, how was your week, your weekend? Tell the gals and girls and girls and guys.
Friday I chilled with my best friends. They came into town, and I was supposed to make stuffed salmon, which I'm still excited about making, but it didn't happen. They came in, I don't want to say late. I don't remember what time they came in, to be honest. It was like 6, 7, something, I'm going to say. But I had to drop my son off at his father's, and traffic was terrible, so we didn't really leave till, I don't know what time. And so it was not happening. So then we end up going shopping for all the stuff so I can make it on Saturday. We then went to Olive Garden, ate there, came back, watched some TV. I can't remember what we watched. We watched something. Oh, we watched the rest of Bel Air.
Okay.
Yeah, so the rest of Bel Air. I've seen it, but my friends didn't. So we watched that, and then we chilled. The next morning, woke up, made breakfast. Well, I didn't. My friend did. I was like, I'm not making shit. So she made breakfast for all of us. It was delicious. We sat down, chilled. We slept majority of the day. What else happened? Slept legit majority of the day. Apparently, all of us needed to sleep because all of us were out. Like, we were old people, just out. I was out on the couch, and every time I woke up, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go back to sleep. And then we woke up at night, and I was like, okay, I could possibly make the salmon, but I was still so fucking tired that we had Chinese. So I didn't make the salmon, so I was like, all right, I have to make it when they come back at some point. So it was Saturday, then Sunday I went out on a date. And I got to see the gentleman I was out with train dogs, which was very interesting to me. Never seen like that part of it. I don't know, whenever I think about training dogs, I always think of like they have dogs in the backyard fighting each other.
Oh my God.
Obviously that's not what it was, but in my head that's what I think. And I'm like, that's definitely not it. That's just a dog fight. But
right. That's animal abuse.
And so that was really but like to see the control of the animal of the dog, and I was like, dang, I need that for my dog, because that motherfucker don't want to listen at goddamn all.
Well, look, get in, stay in, and I'm sending Luna.
So that was cool. Got to meet some of his people that's in like that organization, so that was cool. And we got to learn a lot about each other. So it was probably one of the most interesting dates that I've been on in a while.
Okay.
It was something different. I've never done that, period. So, and I like that. I'm not really one of those traditional, oh, let's go out to eat or the movies. I don't want to do that shit. Obviously, food needs to be a part of it.
Right.
But I just don't want to go out to eat. Like, that's not who I am. I want to go have fun. And that way we can see if we match well. Because I think just sitting down, it's just us having a conversation. If we are at the point where we're on a date, then we've already conversed, which means I probably know a bit about you. Obviously, while we're sitting there, we're just either rehashing things we went over or possibly talking about new things. But to me, that just gets boring. Like while we're out playing a game, like there's other things that could come up that you're like, oh shit, okay, are you competitive? Blah blah blah. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just don't like to sit down and be bored.
Right.
So this was interesting, and I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I came home and knocked the fuck out.
Cool.
What about you?
Friday I spent with my nieces and nephew.
Mm-hmm.
Hung out with them for some time and I watched the Turning Red movie that's on Disney. It's a Pixar movie.
Okay.
With the red panda. I'm not sure if you've seen any type of advertisements for it. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a cute movie. It really kind of, in an appropriate way, addresses puberty for girls. And the red panda, so she turns into a red panda, and that pretty much signifies her coming into womanhood.
Interesting. Okay.
I was not expecting it to be the concept whatsoever. Like, I don't know what I like the yeah, because the trailers don't really give any type of context as to what the purpose of the panda is, how it relates to the movie. So that was cool, cute. At a point, some of it kind of lost me. I wasn't super engaged with it the entire time. And then I made myself sit down and rewatch Encanto.
Okay.
And I actually really liked it.
My best friend loves it.
It's a really well constructed movie. The music's really good. It's a really good solid movie. Okay. I liked it a lot.
I've never seen it.
I now better understand why we don't talk about Bruno. I get it now. I understand why we don't talk about Bruno. See? Someone had said, my sister had said to me actually, maybe about a month ago, and she was like, if you don't know why we don't talk about Bruno, you can tell you ain't got kids in your life, like young kids. And I was like, huh? But there's the breakout song from the movie is We Don't Talk About Bruno. And it's like this huge thing. Kids, like literally, it was performed at the Oscars actually. They performed the song We Don't Talk About Bruno at the Oscars. It was hilarious.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty much as huge as Frozen and Let It Go was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's to
yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's a really cute, really, really good movie though. My nieces go crazy for it. Literally will just sing the song on their own and recreate what the characters are doing in the movie the entire time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's a really cute movie.
Yeah, I got an 11-year-old. I don't do that no more.
Yeah.
Unless someone's like, hey, but my best friend is literally like, yes, it's a good movie. And I said, okay.
I'm trying to think what the last Pixar movie that they put out that everyone ranted and raved about. But they've really been hitting them with it. Like, it's been one that's, enjoyable across ages.
Okay. Well, I may watch it one day.
Yeah, well, that was Friday. Saturday, my best friend's son turned 1.
Okay.
Mr. D2 had his first birthday party over the weekend, and that was wonderful. It was very interesting watching my best friend go from this super worried, out of control, into this put together mother for her son's birthday. Wanting to make sure everything's in place and perfect, and you're going crazy if you don't think it fits exactly what you had in mind for it. But it came together so well. And I'm just so happy we're all able to be there and celebrate him. And he said, "Thank you guys," and I'm taking a nap. He definitely just fell asleep out of nowhere. I was like, "That's all right. That's how the party's supposed to go." When the rock star,
baby.
When the rock star ready to go down,
everybody
let it
leave.
be.
It's time to go. He said, "Oh, that was so much fun." Was out.
It was so nice, and it was so nice seeing family and just kind of being. It's probably one of the first gatherings like that, kind of since COVID, with like close family people and just being specifically for something like that. Since COVID happened, I know I haven't been together with her family at all since COVID, I don't believe. So it was nice. Nice seeing everyone in one place. And then Sunday was my silly self. So I ended up taking my nieces. So when I say like I went to the birthday party, I mean like my entire family and her entire family are like molded together.
Mm-hmm.
So like my entire family, my mom, my siblings, my nieces, and my nephew were at my best friend's son's birthday party.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up taking my sister's children with me afterwards to spend some time with them. And it wasn't until Saturday night that I realized that I grabbed all the kids and forgot my purse at my best friend's house. Yeah. So Sunday morning I woke up and went over to her house to get my purse. And I did grocery shopping. I cooked for the week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw Bay at the end of the day.
That sounds like a good weekend.
Yeah.
A well-rounded weekend filled with children and men and sex. I mean, next topic. No sex for me, guys.
Well, yeah. So let's
You were
hop.
supposed to hop in and say no. You didn't want to say nothing.
People need to know what I'm getting.
Girl, you got a man.
Misguided hoes don't need to be knows what I'm getting.
You getting. That's
it's
what it
given
is.
when it's supposed to give. So
that's all that matters.
So we have a new Supreme Court nominee that is currently awaiting confirmation, which will be our first
black female. Amen, amen, amen.
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes, and it was like a whole heartfelt portion in there. Yes. Cory Booker.
Yeah, Cory Booker.
A whole heartfelt thing. Like I listen. I don't really watch the news, guys. I think y'all already know that about me. Fee Baby comes with the news. I will watch it when she provides me said news, and then we go from there. But that I actually saw on my own bits and pieces of it because I was like, "This is the first black woman. What are we doing?" And when he gave his whole heartfelt, he was like, race and gender shouldn't be a part of it. And then went into, you're also X, Y, and Z. But when I look at you, all I can think about is my mom and my sisters, and that's true. Like, it's very important to have representation of you. There's not a lot of that in the world. Period, of black women being in high places, like just a black woman. I'm not saying a black woman is mixed with whatever X, Y, and Z, because there are a lot of mixed individuals in there, but a black woman. Okay. Because I feel like that's different. Because if the person is mixed, I'm like, okay, and it could just be me and my jaded mind or whatever. Is whenever a person is like mixed with white or Asian or Hispanic or whatever it may be, I always feel like that's the reason they got it, not because of black. Okay. So to see a black woman get it, to me, I don't know. That just is a different thing for me.
Absolutely.
So I was like, okay, and he better make her cry. I'm just like, but he was.
Yeah, she definitely teared up.
Yes, and he was doing a whole, and I was like, okay, but I really understood, and I love that they had that moment, and it wasn't like they had to be super professional. Right. So I love that, and I'm very happy, and I hope that she gets it.
Absolutely. So what she's going through right now is the confirmation. What confirmation is essentially members, I believe, is it of the Senate, go through and ask her questions and try to determine if they would or would not vote for her in order for her to be, so Biden appoints her, so recommends her essentially. That's where the nominee piece comes. And then, you have that other branch that comes through and, does their checks and balances shit. So that's where they're at right now. They're in the checks and balances piece. And one of the main questions that was posed that most people are kind of raining down on the person who asked it, and I purposely didn't get her name because we don't need to give her a light because it's not about her. But one of the women, this was a white woman that asked this question of her, asked her to define woman. And she was Republican aligned, and that's a huge thing right now with them trying to press the birth given genders onto people and not allowing to be more fluidity and different identities than the birth given. Let me make sure I'm saying it right, because there's gender and then there's sex, and one of them is considered birth given. The other one is, I believe. Let me just want to make sure. Yes. Okay, so sex. So their sex identified at birth. So essentially, and which is true, judge, because she is currently a judge currently, just not a Supreme Court justice judge. But Judge Brown Jackson's response was that she herself does not define things. And she was like, I don't quite understand how you want me to respond to this, because my role and responsibility with things such as defining is you give me what the definitions are. And then it's my responsibility to take what has been given and see if that fits what the definition is. Right. Like, I specifically do not define things. I take literature and I take, law, and it becomes applicable to a situation, and I say whether or not this does or does not align with the definition that is put forth for something. So it's, it's showing, trying to, one specifically because I don't know if she has any type of political affiliation outside of this, but with the assumption that she's a black woman, they're going to assume that she aligns Democratic. And so they're going to push questions that align very right-sided to expose, or feel like they're going to expose that piece of her to make her off-putting.
I think that was a great answer, though.
Yeah, because that is what her job title is. It's not her responsibility to define anything.
Correct.
You present her with the literature and the evidence, and she is supposed to make that from there. Yeah.
Yeah, they always be trying to get people.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And because I think they're also, depending upon her answer, they're hoping that someone else, like a certain group, may probably be upset with her and go from there.
And it also goes to point to how black people have to do more than their counterparts do to even be considered for things, because she is more qualified than any of the current seated Supreme Court justices. She is more qualified and checks every single box of what is like, how they have, like, these are the requirements, but these are like the recommendations for the position. She meets every single one of those, and not a single other currently seated Supreme Court justice ticks all the boxes. But they are questioning, her legitimacy and ability to do this. So it just further shows how much more black people have to do to prove themselves qualified for something.
You gotta do at least 2 times. And the key word is at least.
So I definitely hope that this goes in her favor.
Me too.
And she is appointed the next Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
Because one, representation not only matters, but it's imperative, because your Supreme Court justices should, not representation matters just for people to see, like, themselves and other people, but the people who are essentially putting in effect things for the country should look like the people
in the country
that they are, representing. Like, just like lawmakers, just like the people who, like, Senate, governors, they should be reflective of the people who they represent. It goes both ways. It's important for you to see representation, but it's also important for the people who are making these decisions also be a part of the communities that they are making these decisions for.
Correct. How many Supreme Court, how many?
Yeah, you're just not going to keep asking me out loud. You're just going to do some of the research on these questions that you asked, too. Is that what you're doing?
I was trying to see how many.
I want to say, I don't, like 12
well,
or
one
16.
Everybody liked. I was trying to see how many men and women. There's 3 women. There's 4. Oh, there's 4. She's retired.
Because one of them I think passed away recently, but I think that was filled by Trump when he was in office.
There's no black. Was black male.
A black male. Yeah, I think Obama appointed a Hispanic woman when he was in office.
Yeah. The person who passed away was RBG.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But I don't. Yeah, there's only one black male.
Yeah. So representation is very important. In all arenas, you know, regardless of what your ideas and thoughts were on Obama while he was in office, to be able to see someone hold the highest position in America and it be a black male was very important for a lot of kids to show that they have the ability to obtain those titles in this country. So,
yeah. Well, we shall see. We'll keep y'all updated. We may take a drink once she gets appointed. I'm gonna say once she gets appointed.
When
we're speaking it into existence over here.
Absolutely. In other news, which kind of ties into the Supreme Court piece, there are people who are lobbying on the political and lawmaking side to have certain matters be removed from being federally regulated and to return the decision-making process for these items back over to the states. What was specifically recently mentioned was interracial marriage. To be returned back to the states to make decisions for.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
But my question is,
why?
What about that makes that a legal matter to decide whether or not people have the ability to be married to one another? Because the main hot button issues that are currently still with states to make decisions on is gun rights
and marijuana.
And marijuana are the main things that are hot button pieces that individual states have the ability to regulate what they do and don't do with. But things like interracial, things that have recently been put into place, interracial marriage was put in, abortion and gay marriage have all been regulated.
And gay marriage was just done.
Yeah, that was very recent.
Interracial marriage done in 1967. Right?
Yeah, and Roe versus Wade was not too far removed from the interracial marriage in 1967. And, you know, recently, so it's not shocking that they would want to undo the responsibility of to have states do that because they're trying to overturn Roe versus Wade and return it back to the states to make decisions on for abortions.
Which is stupid. I don't understand. I don't get it. Why are we trying to change this? The rules, the laws are the way that they are. Leave them be. There are some rules and laws that need to be changed, but those are not them. Why are we going backwards? No. That's legit what we're doing. We're going backwards. Interracial marriage was not a thing. Then it became a thing. Everybody's good. Now y'all don't want it to be a thing. Y'all are trying to separate again, which is legit. What people like to say in history is what? You know?
I'm just trying to figure out where you're going with it because I'm actually not sure. I'm really not sure where you're going with this. So no, I don't know what they say. What do they say? I wish y'all could have saw my face looking at her.
And that's why I was like...
Because she looked at me like, you got it? I don't. It can't be those who don't know the history are doomed to repeat itself. Yeah. That can't be the one.
But some of them
know the history.
But do they?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it should be those who don't understand.
Oh, they understand it because all the ones are looking to repeal support the Republican agenda. Guns, abortion, ability to marry
who you want.
Yes, absolutely. 150%.
Maybe they really don't know, though. Or maybe I just feel like they don't comprehend. I don't know. I just don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Period.
And, of course, it's always white men who are lobbying these things.
Always.
Absolutely.
Always. Keep that to myself. Yes, always.
Well, something that was put into law was the Anti-Lynching Act was signed into a federal hate crime by Mr. Biden.
That probably be gone too. Was he gone? Sorry.
Well,
but not sorry.
It would take a lot of effort for them to do so, and they had better come with the most defense ready in order to do so. Because while I still can't understand why it took as long to make it into federal law. If for any reason that ever gets overturned, it needs to be as much hell and high waters to do so, to overturn it, because it makes no sense why it wasn't passed in the first place. It's an absolute no-brainer.
It does not make sense, but
this is America.
Yes, I was trying to figure out whether the words were going to come, but unfortunately, it's legit it. This is America, and whatever they feel like doing is what they do.
Right.
And just like the gun laws and the abortion, which I don't understand why people are trying. Abortion should be up to the person, period.
Because we do not have true separation of church and state when it comes to a lot of our people who are in office. They blur the lines of church and state. And
well, if that's the case, then y'all need to go back and read the Bible, because y'all doing a bunch of shit that y'all shouldn't be fucking doing.
You know it's pick and choose.
But if y'all gonna do that, then y'all need to go back through the Bible, because I know that a lot of y'all motherfuckers eating pig, and I bet you that bitch in the Bible say you ain't supposed to eat that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Oh, and guess what? You ain't supposed to have sex before marriage, and I bet you 99% of y'all motherfuckers had sex before, and children. Mm-hmm. All of these things. Absolutely. And I bet you all of y'all motherfuckers did at least one of those things in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that I dislike about Christians. Or religion as a whole. Yes, but unfortunately it's mainly Christians.
Because that is the more
dominant one in the United States of America, is that they will pick and choose what is applicable to that specific person, or if they are the pastor or preacher or whatever, to their congregation. Mm-hmm. No, that's not how the Bible is not supposed to be up for interpretation based on what you believe. You're supposed to read it and it tells you. So it says in the Bible, X, Y, and Z. Motherfucker, that's X, Y, and Z. Right. But you're like, ooh, I like to do Y though, so we're just going to do X and Z. No, bitch, that's not how it works.
Right.
So no, I don't know what's going to happen if interracial marriage is put into place.
There's no way, because there's no.
You like to say there's no way. And I'm on your other shoulder, and I'm telling you, there is always a way. Yeah. Unfortunately, there is always a way. And if that is to occur, I wonder what's going to happen to the people that are already currently married, that are interracial. Like, what will happen to them? So let's say the state is illegitimize their Texas, because Texas like to do whatever. So let's say Texas is the state. If it becomes applicable, then those people that are married. So does that come interracial marriage? Because mainly it was about black and white. So is that in general, period?
Yeah, because that was the only main concern that they had at the time.
Was black and white. But now, is that still going to be black and white? Or is that any of them?
The interracial is all races.
Yes, but black. Yeah. So, but I'm curious, but they can usually put little things in there and say X, Y, and Z. So, I don't know, because a lot of them people in Texas is all combobulated, mixed up. So, does that mean that no one's going to live in that state? Like, I'm just curious on how that's going to happen. Like, if they're already married, do they have to move out the state? Because now, technically, if that's applicable, they are doing something illegal. Or is it only you can't get married after that time period? Right.
Or it may just illegitimize the marriage. Just like how before gay marriage was passed by the Supreme Court, you could be legally married in other states. Mm-hmm. And then once you enter into another state, it's no longer recognized. Right.
So then that basically means if you lived in that state and they decided to do, to ban the interracial marriage, you would have to move, because then your marriage is not legal.
Yeah, if you wish for it to be legally recognized, yes.
That's crazy.
And that usually comes into big play when it comes to, unfortunately, deaths.
Yep.
That was something that a lot of
gay marriages and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't recognized. So then all the whatever was occurring was going to other people.
Yep, other family members, people who they had no intentions of being the beneficiary of their.
And they know nothing about nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Huh.
Or 9 times out of 10, those family members did not support the marriage.
Correct, and then they don't even help out the person that your person that died loved.
Yep.
Which I think is just selfish, but that's a whole other conversation. But y'all, we're going to... I just don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I don't even know what to say, because I just don't get it. we're legit going backwards.
Yep.
It has not even
they're
been
just fucking twiddling their
100
thumbs.
years.
Just twiddling their fucking thumbs.
What's it been? 60 years? How many years been? 67 to 07 is 40.
It's like
so
70.
67 to 07 is 40. 07 to 17 is 50. So it's almost 60. Yeah. Goodbye. Go away. Go away. So it's almost, it hasn't even, like, it's almost 60 years. It's not even been 60 years.
It's been six. Hold on. Oh, you're right. Never mind. I'm thinking about somebody else's date of birth.
Go back to school.
Stop.
Go back.
For some reason, I was just thinking, I was like, dang, that's the year my grandma was born. And I'm lying. That's
67?
It was my mom.
I'm about to say.
Grandma. That's why I was like, ain't no way it's 60. My grandma older than 60.
Go away. Go away.
But no, mama.
But it's not even 60 because this is 2022, so it's almost 60 years.
I know. Yeah, but I was like, there's no way. My grandma definitely older than that.
Take the whole wheel, Lord. Take the whole wheel.
People have to be mad explaining shit to me sometimes. I know I'd be like, someone tried to do that today. I was asking somebody for help on something. I was like, can you explain this to me? And they looked at me. I was like, I know what you have said, but I want to let you know something's not clicking for me. I was like, I don't know. I have to be honest, because I will go back and sit down and be like, what the fuck did they just say? I looked her dead in her face and was like, something is not clicking. When I figure out what's not clicking, I'll come back to you.
I'm weak. Good, bad. That's funny, though.
My brain works in odd ways, and I'll look at you dead in your face and be like, hello.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yep.
Shit, I be doing all the time. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then I met somebody else. What was that meeting about? I used to do that to your ass all the time. What was that? What was you talking about? I mean,
Child.
Because I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so I hope none of those things occur.
Yeah.
The abortion thing is crazy on its own. That was already done, right, in Texas? Was it done?
No, it hasn't been done.
It's still in process. Okay.
They're definitely lobbying very heavy. So what all the states are doing right now, they don't have the ability to ban abortions outright, but what they are doing is specifically like in Texas, they are making it illegal to get an abortion after a certain time frame, and they're setting it so early in the pregnancy
that you can't even
that
tell.
most people, aren't even aware they are pregnant at that time.
So if I was in Texas, you know what I do? Bitch, what I do now, have some motherfucking pregnancy tests, and if I even feel an inkling of, oh, let me go take it, bitch. Because a bitch. If y'all can see my face. Bitch. No.
Yeah. It's
so
very sad.
It is. Because most people don't even know till, I should probably know, but mine was a whole thing. So.
I can't speak to.
I'm trying to think when most people know, though. And in like 12 weeks or some shit.
Yeah, around like
because
3
most
months,
of the time you have no idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, there were a lot of states that are trying to do the wiggle room around. Is like I said, they're setting
6 weeks or some bullshit.
The ban so early. Like I said, people literally don't know they're pregnant at that point.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times you haven't had your first skipped period.
Mm-mm.
Like even so, you're probably like, oh, I'm just running a little late. So that's why some people don't know until like, around 12 weeks, maybe a stretch on it sometimes, because at that point you've missed like 2 or 3 periods at that point.
Mm-hmm. But
if they're putting the ban at 6 weeks, some people are still in probably the denial phase of my period's just late.
Well, y'all in that state, y'all better not be in no goddamn denial phase.
Exactly.
Do what Velvet do. Have about 5 of them tests with you in case anything ever pops off. 5 are always available.
Right.
Refill them. And if you have any inkling, or if there was a mistake that occurred, if y'all understand what I'm saying, during a process, go ahead, pop that bitch in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
Make sure and say, okay.
Yeah, because you, apparently on the test, which I didn't realize it until like actually reading it, you're supposed to take it as close to when you anticipate to have your period as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The closer to the time frame before you anticipate your period to come on. Like you just can't take a pregnancy test like out of the blue any fucking time of the month. Like apparently to get best results is supposed to be closest to when your period.
When I found out that I took it out of the blue, so I brought it up.
Were you like pregnant?
No, and the reason I took it is because I'm trying to think when my son's father came to visit me in college, it was Halloween time frame. Hold on. It was when homecoming was. So I think it was like September-ish. I'm in a September, October time frame. And so I'm going to say 4 weeks is when I realized, because I was drinking on Halloween. And I think I had one drink, and you know me. Mm-hmm. I was even worse back then. I could troll him back like a man. And I had one drink, and I was like, the fuck? I had felt terrible. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, well, maybe something wrong with this. And so I tried to drink another one. It did not work. So then the next morning, I literally vomited.
Oh, God.
And I was like, this shit ain't right. Because a week before, like I was having some weird back pain. And I was like, why am I having this back pain? Because I used to walk to school every day. So I was like, this is my normal walk. Like, I'm not doing nothing crazy. And I was like, why's my back hurt? And I put 2 and 2 together. And so I was like, okay. And then that's when the Halloween stuff happened. I did that. And I said, I'm a drinker. This is not me. Took a test. Well, bitch, I actually took 5 tests. But took a test. And I
pregnant.
This bitch say, I'm pregnant. And I said, let me take another one. That one said inconclusive. I said, ooh, inconclusive.
Hallelujah, there's hope.
And then
Hallelujah.
I got another one from a pharmacy, and that one said pregnant. And I said, I don't believe this shit. So I went and got an expensive one, the one that talk to you and say pregnant.
My God.
And I said, God damn, I'm pregnant. I was in denial. But I would say about 4 weeks. So around 4 weeks, y'all, after y'all do something and something slip up, or even if, y'all not slipping up, but you and your mans is doing stuff and shebangs happen, I would say around 4 weeks, take it and go from there.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Understand. Understand, because a bitch over here is always prepared. Always.
So on to our next happenings. Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy. If I'm not mistaken, that's her first actual studio album. First
with red bottom on it. Is that it?
That's Bodak Yellow. Yes, it's not red bottom. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
That was part of the song, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God. It's the first album in history to have all of its songs certified platinum or higher.
Bitch, you better do it.
The first album in history. And I feel like so many people discredit Cardi. They don't give her flowers. They don't acknowledge the impact that she has.
Well, that's because they all like Nicki Minaj. And so
but also they love discrediting black women too.
Correct.
And they also want to shit on her entrance into the game.
Just like a lot of other motherfuckers.
Well, specifically because it was Love and Hip Hop. But they love to discredit her because of her entrance into the game. But it's still doing numbers, and this album is old as hell.
It is.
I think this album is at least like 4 or 5 years old. Let me look up how long ago Invasion of Privacy came out. That album is at least 4 years old, if not more. Let me take a look. Privacy was released in 2018, so 4 years ago.
Maybe I thought it was later than that. I mean, older than that.
Yeah, but go the fuck off. Keep doing your shit.
Fact.
And I think that's the only. Has she had any other albums come out?
Yes.
Singles, but albums?
Yes.
Let me see.
I don't know. I'm saying yes.
No.
Oh, just kidding. No.
That is the only.
I was say I have no. I thought
everything else is mixtapes.
Oh, okay.
Gangsta Bitch music. She's dropped singles, but she has not had any. She's done a lot of features. Like WAP was a single. Wild Side, which was a feature that she did.
But I do love Invasion of Privacy because a couple of them songs up there be having me going. Like Get Up 10 is my shit. That is my shit. When I'm down, I play that shit. Because I said, ooh, this is number 10. I'm getting up.
Yeah.
I be trying to hype myself up. And Drip, I like as well. And you heard,
Drip.
Yeah. And you heard what the whole commotion about that was, right? that what is his name? He has a child with Sierra.
Future?
Yes, he was supposed to be on this.
Uh-huh.
Don't quote me, y'all, because I may be wrong, but I believe it was supposed to be him. But this was, I think, on the Breakfast Club one time, and it was supposed to be him on it, but then he didn't want to work with her because the whole thing with Nicki Minaj apparently was what the thing was. So then she got the Migos on it, which I was like, shit, that was bikers. So I was like, I can't even say I'm really a fan of dude. See, I always forget his name.
Future.
Yep, that one. So I can't even say I know many of his songs off the top of my head. Like I think I know songs that he is a part of. But I don't know any of his songs. Do you? Like with nobody else.
March Madness is his song.
With nobody else on.
Mask Off. I don't.
I don't know.
Off. I don't know.
Mask Off has somebody on it. He's like that dude that you said always has good songs for other people. He's a singer.
Oh, Ty Dolla Sign. Except they're the reverse. Ty Dolla Sign is always a feature on somebody's versus his own.
Well, he has his own music, but so I
Future's music be his music with people featuring on it.
But it's only good when other people are on it. I can't think of a song where it's just.
But see, Ty Dolla Sign, his music is trash.
Even when
his features on other people's songs.
So even when other people are featured on his songs,
yeah, his songs just ain't really like they don't hit like that. But his features on he makes other people's songs. Other people's songs be super lit with him on it. Yeah. His music himself, man.
Dang.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I think almost every song. I think the only song I didn't like on here was "I Like It," but a lot of people like that one. I just didn't like it.
Oh, I like it like that.
I didn't like it. That was probably my least favorite song on this thing. I probably could rap.
Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing.
Yup.
I like those Balenciagas. The one like socks. That's like my favorite line. I don't know why. The one that like
some of the lines are good, but I don't think I like the song overall. But yeah, I used to. This whole album, I was looking through and I was like, fuck, I thought Get Up 10 was on a different album. That's what I was like.
Ring.
Yes. With Kalani.
You don't hit my line no more. You don't make it ring.
Yes.
Those were Fee Baby's vocals, in case you're wondering.
I didn't want to hit y'all with mine because then, you know.
Skirt, goodbye.
I'm a stunner over here.
Say bye.
I'm a stunner.
Say bye.
My voice
Number one
and my
stunner.
throat is wonderful.
Girl, bye. Don't wink at me. Fucking nasty. Fucking wink at me. Fuck you winking at me for? Ho?
I said
no.
My throat and my voice is wonderful. When I sing, it comes from the soul.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sing for y'all one day for real.
No, please don't.
You sound like a hater.
It's not required.
You sound like a hater.
It's not required.
Hater.
Anyway, so
hater.
Moving on to some very unfortunate
I don't know why you didn't put this up and that down.
Information. What?
I don't wanna.
Well,
did y'all hear about the child that had an unfortunate event that occurred in Florida where they fell from the new ride at the amusement park, the drop zone, and the fell from the drop zone. Apparently, he was like 6.
He was
14 years old. I forgot to say that part. 14-year-old
Tyrese
kid,
Sampson,
and he was like 6 something, heavy set,
300 some pounds.
Yeah, and he got into the ride, and unfortunately, he fell out of the ride when it was coming down, and now they're trying to say that the ride was secure or the latch was secure, which I can't see. Like, if he was like super skinny, then I would even think about, well, maybe
so that's
he fell
the crazy
between.
Part. Everyone assumed prior to prior to having a face to the name, even I like assumed that whatever 14-year-old this was, they were small and slid out.
Yeah. But this is a big dude.
Yes.
He was big, like a big dude.
He was a football player.
Yes, and there was no way that he could have just slipped out if everything was latched correctly, properly.
Because all areas of like exit that would have been there would be filled by body.
Yes, he was of that stature. So I don't know why well, let me rephrase. Now they're stating that those things were secure, but it just does not make sense.
And it was secure. Not only were they secure going up, but they're saying that the seat was still intact and secured when it came down.
But how?
Yeah.
Unless when he fell out, it came down and swung down. That's the only thing that I can think of, but I don't know what that middle piece was. Because in some rides, there's not a thing in between. Because I've been on a ride where there's not like a clip in between like your thighs. Like a lot of the old rides.
Usually those are clips. The drop zones, those are going to be clips. Okay.
So I know back in the day, a lot of the rides, period, were clips. But I know I went on a couple of rides before and it was just the hold on. And they just said that was, so maybe that's what they're talking about. But if he was a burly dude, technically depending upon the motion and the force of you're dropping, a lot of his body could have forced it up. Like, I don't know. And then they're saying that a lot of the other rides told him that he couldn't get on them. That's the only ride that allowed him to get on it. Yep. So that right there speaks volumes. Like, unfortunately, he wanted to go there to have fun, but your life is more important. Obviously, he was like, okay, can I get on? And they said yes. But them being the professional that they're supposed to be should have done like the other rides and said, I'm sorry, unfortunately, you're unable to get on because of X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And that did not happen. So that is on y'all. Y'all know what y'all stipulations are. Y'all know what y'all rules are. And as an employee or whatever and trained in that, you're supposed to know what you're supposed to do. Regardless if it's going to hurt somebody's feelings or not. Whether it's a child or adult. I can say, as being a heavy-set person, that I have definitely tried to get on a ride before, and they're like, I'm sorry, you're unable to get on it. And I was like, dang, you just going to burst me like that? But I got up and I left.
Right.
Because I prefer to live than to, unfortunately, go through this event. And I feel very sad for the kids that were with him, because I think he was with a group of kids, right? Or at least one other one.
There were at least a couple friends.
So he's with friends. His parents that were there. Anybody that, even people that didn't know him and you saw this, like, that has to be super traumatizing. And I think you said something earlier where he said something to his friend that was on the ride with him.
Yeah. As the ride went up, he said to his friends, I don't feel like this doesn't feel secure. This doesn't feel right. And he said to his friends, tell my mom and dad I love them if I don't make it.
And that's so fucking sad. And being that person that's hearing this, and you're like, nah, bro, you good. Like,
yeah, it's most likely like when you see your friend, they're pretty much float away. Like they're gone at that point in time. You no longer and you start thinking at the same time, is my seat not secure?
Yeah.
Is that going to be something that I now need to worry about as well?
True. Like, and also depending upon, like, you're like, well, grab my hand, but then you're like, I don't even know, like, could you even help?
I'm trying to look at, see if there's anything more close that I can see as far as the seats are concerned, to see if there is an additional latch in between. I couldn't see it in there. Because here's the one that shows him from another side of it, and it, like, the seat, the part that comes from up above his head does not, so usually those also have like clicks that you hear when they come down. And if that click, that had to have been the very first click, because that does not look like it's concealing his body in it whatsoever. And I don't understand how they say it was locked. Like, it just doesn't. And if it's saying locked, are they stating that's the locked position, the clicks like you mentioned, and it doesn't have a buckle? Yeah. Are they saying he slid out of the area? Because that's, no one should feel comfortable with, as much as that chest restraint was off of his body and not connected to the bottom piece of the seat. then it's possible. Then that could be the situation.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't have a buckle piece, it's very well possible he slid out of that, and it would still remain.
And they were going 75 miles per hour. So
Yeah.
Yes. And his body is hefty. Any of that, like with the pressure on his body, if he moved a certain way, any of that could occur. The attendant should have advised him that unfortunately he's unable to get on the ride.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's very traumatic for all the people who are involved.
I can't even imagine as a parent. Oh my goodness.
Can't imagine how the video of him falling ended up on the internet unless it was streamed live. But apparently that video did make it to the internet. People have seen it, which is even more devastating for the parents and the family and the kids who went through it and experienced it. It's super unfortunate.
And there's gonna be rude motherfuckers under them comments.
Yeah, and then especially for parents that and the parents also said it took them 10 minutes ambulance to get there. This was a ride that twirls as it goes up. I'm showing, and this was a ride that hadn't even been open that long. It had been, I think I read somewhere between 3 to 6 months, less than a year, and it boasts being the highest drop tower in the world. That's also the thing about when you talk about that being infatuated with being like the first or the biggest or the most important.
You need to be the most secure.
Exactly. That's really what that's really where it comes down to and boils down to.
Yeah.
Is this need to be like, there's just recently a new roller coaster that opened up at Busch Gardens that's boasting about being, I think it's like the fastest multi-takeoff platform, something.
I'm good on all those things.
It's some type, just to try to make them sound like they're the biggest and most XYZ in something. Because people don't want to ride it unless it's some type of extravagant, death-defying thing. And just talking about that in itself, like chasing something like that is kind of ridiculous to me.
Some people just like to go to amusement parks, but there are people that love to get those exciting things in their life. I don't know. I feel bad for the family. And for him, and especially, and I feel bad for the person that heard him say, "I don't feel secure if I don't make it. Tell my mom and dad I love them." Like, what?
That's very.
The thing that came to my head, I'd be like, "I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
I'm sorry." And then the sad is, you don't have like an emergency button.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about that.
Like, and I guess maybe because they think that people will just press the button to be funny or something. But I think maybe there needs to be something up there. Like if someone doesn't feel secure, or if, I don't know, someone about to shit their pants. I don't know, but
there are seatbelts on that ride.
Oh, well, that sounds like they did not confirm that it was secure. I don't understand how he would have slipped out. Those things don't make sense to me.
Oh, jeez. But I don't know, and I would have to look further because what I just seen looked like someone, and I can't confirm or deny if this is video taken of the ride that he was on, but it shows one of the attendants asking if seatbelts were checked. And someone asked, "Did you check the seatbelts on the left side?" And the person responded no, and the ride proceeds to go up. I cannot confirm or deny if this video is showing the alleged actual ride that he took.
Y'all did not check the.
Or if this.
So why? Hold on. Before we. Again, so they said no, but even if it wasn't,
right.
But for whatever ride that was, if it was or wasn't this one, someone said no, and they still let the ride go up.
Yep.
Oh hell no.
Yep.
I don't want to. It sounds bad when I say this, but I hope it's that ride so that it helps them in that investigation.
Right.
It's sad to say that. Obviously, I wish none of this occurred, but it's sad to say that. I feel bad. Having a child, I just could not even imagine.
A family is now missing
a whole kid. Friends are missing their friend. Siblings are missing a brother. I can't.
Yeah.
I cannot.
So, but
goodness.
as more comes, because they're releasing information that they bullshit investigation that they're doing. Hopefully someone offers to do this pro bono, because that wouldn't be anything cheap to do, and someone wages something against
the city, everybody.
Yeah,
because that don't make sense. And it doesn't. I just don't foresee it personally.
Right.
If you would have said he was super skinny, I would say, okay, possibly. He slipped through with the seat still being attached. If there were seat belts, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So.
I'm so sorry, y'all. Those kids. Oh, my goodness. Oh.
Well, take a moment.
And Woosah. Ah, that's funny. Woosah, because that's what we're about to talk about is Will Smith.
Yeah. On to the night of the Oscars.
Will Smith said, smack! Smack it, smack!
Yeah, that entire situation
was interesting.
It was interesting. It also is kind of crazy because there was a lot that became overshadowed by what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So essentially what took over the entire night became the dominating narrative was that Chris Rock was making a joke at the expense of Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially what that joke was referencing her having a bald head.
Mm-hmm.
He joked about when doing G.I. Jane, that would have been, a choice for her to be bald. But I believe he said something along the lines like, now it's not a choice for her.
He said something about looking forward to G.I. Jane 2 or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so you could see Will at first was kind of like laughing at some of the jokes. But then you see Jada kind of like roll her eyes at, well, I wouldn't say necessarily roll, but it was kind of like in my eyes, the way her eyes and face gesture was more like kind of like cringe, versus more or less like eye roll. And you watch Will walk up to the stage and you hear Chris narrate, oh, Will's walking up to me. And Chris is just smiling.
And then you hear a,
yes.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Will takes his right hand while bringing his left in and smacks the shit.
He went from the ancestors, y'all. He said, oh, I take you back. And he went from the back to the front and smacked the shit out of the Chris. And I said, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit.
So.
I watched that video about 3 times.
I did not believe it was real because, one, for it to be Will, I don't think anybody was anticipating for that to be.
I didn't know what was going to happen when he walked up to the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. All I know is someone had sent me a meme. It was like everybody's face when Will smacked Chris. And I was like, hold on. Am I missing something? What the fuck happened? I go back onto social media and see all this. I was like, whoa, that's a hell of a way to find out that Will smacked Chris is by someone sending me a meme about everyone's after reaction. And what my main question is one, do you think Chris was the intended recipient of that smack? In terms of, was it really Chris that Will was giving that smack to? Or was Chris the person who ended up on the receiving end due to his timing and place?
I would have to say both because apparently Chris has been saying a lot of stuff over the last year, is what someone was telling me. Y'all know I don't watch the news, so this is hearsay. But apparently there was stuff that Chris has been saying over the last year or something about Jada. And so I feel like a part of that is that, but also I'm quite sure it's just everything combined with everything that's been going over the last couple of years. And he was definitely the one that received all of everything.
Right.
So I think it's a part of that, maybe 50-50. Half was for him, and the other half was for all the other bullshit that he's been going through with everything with Jada and what's his name, August Alsina, and all the other shit and X, Y, and Z. So I would have to say that it's a mixture of both. But Chris fucking got it.
Yeah.
And I can't say, and some people, so I guess my question to you is, do you think that he should have got it? Like, regardless of it being on national TV, whatever, because people say, well, he could have handled different, blah, blah, blah. But do you think that he deserved that slap?
I think being a comedian can be dangerous. because you are talking about real live people. And when you want to talk about people in the flesh, there is a level of caution you have to proceed with. And I think especially when you're talking about someone's wife, it's you dabbling, you taking a chance. It's an assumed risk.
Depending upon the man, yes.
It's definitely an assumed risk to do so. So I can't say that, given the circumstances, given the platform this was being said on, that it wouldn't elicit that response from other people. Because you expect me to, it's just like Will said, because right after this, Will did go on to accept an Oscar for a role that he did. But he said in that moment, like, you are expected in their stature to be disrespected and be happy about it. And that's not human nature. That's not how people react in the real world. You see time and time again, it might be on the more exaggerated side, but you see crimes of passion all the time. And that is definitely with the most recent, where they were on the red carpets for another recent award show. Laverne Cox was a correspondent on the red carpet, and she had joked about hearing and seeing more entanglements coming from them. And both of them looked like, well, why would you say that? And even when confronted with that, she did not apologize for her comments on the red carpet, even though you're kind of there to appease the people who you want to interview. Like, that's rapport building. Why would you want to piss off the people who you're interviewing? They're not going to want to interview with you in the future. But it's like, I get to a degree also, they have opened themselves up to a lot of criticism, especially with the platform that Jada now has with the Red Table Talk. But I do think and everyone always talks about where and if there is a line with comedians. That has been a huge conversation.
Forever.
Especially most recently with people becoming more cognizant of what we say, what we joke about, and the impacts that it has, and what is and is not appropriate. And whether that be racial talk, whether that be jokes about pedophilia, whether that be jokes about rape and murder, these are a lot of huge conversations that people are having around comedians because, they're supposed to be a outlet to relieve all those things and be able to talk about the inappropriateness and not have this stigmatism around them. Does this somehow have some type of difference where it doesn't apply here? That's hard to say.
I definitely think there probably should be a line on certain things. I think diseases should be one of those things, because that's certain things that people can't control. That's like legit out of your control. It's something you get, if someone gives it to you, if it's that type of thing, or it's just like
born with, genetic, biological.
So those things I feel like should not, and I also feel like children. Those are my top two: children and diseases. Because I feel like with a child, like in my instant, if he was talking about my child, I probably would slap him.
Because at the same time, I feel like with the comedy piece, it's also subjective. Like, it's hugely subjective what is and is not appropriate to joke about.
Correct.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah. Some people don't give a fuck about. And a lot of things I joke at that, I laugh at that other people are like, well, dang, that's not even funny, but I just have dark humor. So I find things funny that you'd be like, oh, I don't think that's cool. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know.
But, that's another unfortunate piece about the Oscars is usually it's hosted by comedians. And a lot of times the people who are patroning there, who are come there to spectate, do become the source of a lot of the entertainment. There was actually another situation at the Oscars that didn't get as many people's attention. Apparently, Amy Schumer was like a co-host, and she, Kirsten Bell, you know that, you know, yeah. So she pretty much called her a seat filler at the Oscars when she was actually nominated this year for a movie that she did with her fiance, but
Kristen Bell has a fiance. I thought she was married.
No, she's not married. No, she's engaged to him. From Bring It On, right? I think we're talking about the same person. Kirsten Bell from Bring It On, Spider-Man. She was Mary Jane.
Person. Nope. I was thinking about somebody else. Continue.
You're talking about a different Kirsten. I know who you're talking about.
Okay. I was like, hold on.
But no, I'm so sorry. You're right. Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
Dunst is the one who she pulled.
I was say.
Belle, I know Belle is who you're right, who you were thinking of. Kirsten Dunst is the girl from Bring It On. And the girl who played Mary.
The main girl for Bring It On.
Yes, as well as the girlfriend in the first Spider-Man with Tobey.
She said she was a...
But yes, her. But apparently she pulled her up and was saying like there's seat fillers or people who essentially don't deserve to be there and are not on the level of being at the Oscars. But she actually was nominated for an Oscar this year. But it apparently... It was some type of premeditated joke that Kirsten was a part of, along with her fiance. But that's one of the things with going to the Oscars. You do become, because the last Oscars that Chris Rock did host, I did hear about a joke that he made about Jada. It was about, because that was the same year, it was like Oscars So White, and people were boycotting it. And Jada at that time had boycotted it. And he was like, how do you boycott something you weren't invited to? He was like, it's like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. You can't boycott something that you're not invited to. So.
But you can.
I mean, it's almost like cancel culture in a way, in some ways. You can't cancel someone who you were never a patron of in the first place. But this is all before Jada obviously had a Red Table Talk, too. So, someone had said that you had mentioned him talking about Jada prior. That is one of the things that I had heard that he had said previously. But I do think it's a culmination of a lot of things, but it's also, you are disrespecting my wife with her here, me sitting beside her.
And she didn't like it.
Front row to the foolery on national television.
Yeah, I think it's the key part that she didn't like it. Because he laughed. He absolutely laughed at the beginning. Then he realized, oh, my wife doesn't like that. And that's where that came into play is, oh, my wife doesn't like it. So he shut up, and then he did what he did.
After he slapped him and sat back down, he said very audibly,
keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. He should have said it like Samuel Jackson.
Woo! Yeah, he sure did. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. He said that twice.
Yes.
And Chris said, all right, I will.
And he said, well, we'll go ahead and move forward. And I guess the question other people ask is, what would you do if you were Chris?
I will say thus far, Chris has not, from what I've read, has not filed a police report, has not pressed charges. So, before even answering that, I don't fully know what their relationship was prior to this. And if they had one, that's a part that also plays into it. What type of relationship did they have? I think they've had some in passing in the business, but what is their personal relationship? What rapport did they have with one another?
I don't think I've really ever seen them together, so I can't say. Yeah,
but they've both been in the game a long ass time. So someone sent me something where he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, at least one episode. So they've had run-ins. So I'm wondering what the rapport was prior to this happening. But what I would do if I was Chris, I mean,
at that moment,
Chris.
No, I'm asking you. If you were Chris, what would you do at that moment that Will smacked you?
I would have grabbed him before he had the chance to walk off. Because I would have fucked him up. Because I don't have that type of composure. And it's not because, like, fuck you. It's because I don't have that type of composure with my anger. Like, if someone would have hit me, like, my initial reaction is, I need to fuck up whatever's around me. Because I now have this, like, untamed rage within me. Because I need to put the energy that was put in me back into somebody else. I need to exert that somewhere.
Okay.
So I would not have had the checks and balances now. And I think also a huge part of Chris's reaction is shock. I think what you're seeing in him,
he definitely
is
was shocked. He was like, oh, he just slapped me.
I don't think that what you're seeing is necessarily restrained, because by the time Chris processes it, Will's far enough away, and then by the time the shock wears off, that's where Chris is like, all right, I now have to keep running shit because I don't want to make this into something else. Yeah, I would not have had, before Will would have had an opportunity, I would have grabbed the jacket at least, because that's just a knee jerk reaction, like something it just would have automatically.
Okay.
Yeah, I would not have had the ability to process restraint or anything in that moment. What do you think?
I am 87% sure that I would have done the same thing you said. I am 13% on possibly what Chris did to keep it going, only because I was getting paid for it. But the 87 would outweigh the 13. So I'm quite sure that I would have hit Will Smith. I don't even think it would have been a grab. It would have been when he hit me and I came back. It would have came back with a fist. Right. So it wouldn't even been a slap. It would have been a fist, and I guess we'd have been rolling around on the Oscar stage.
What I will say is, I think Chris's reaction may be part of what doesn't. Like, I know they are currently launching an investigation against Will now, whether or not he would retain his Oscar or not. I think Chris's reaction will have a lot to do with whether or not Will does or does not keep it. Because obviously, if Chris would have reacted in a very reactionary way, that would have been, while Will doing that in the first place is already a slap to Oscars, that would have been a huge, like, double, like, backhand slap in addition to, you came through with the open hand and then came back through with the backhand, if Chris would have reacted in that way. And then that would have led to, because it would have disrupted the entire night, because you would have had people had to break them up, all types of stuff. Yeah. And again,
so it's probably what he thought of as well. Yeah. It could just be, a lot of people think, period, what someone used to tell me is, when you get to a certain level in the society or world or whatever, when your money is a certain way, the way that you used to act is obviously different, depending upon your mindset. But some kids or whatever still act the same way they did when they were 17, 18. Their mindset changes, and so the first thing to think about is their pocket. And so that could have been something he thought about. I definitely think he was in shock, because he was like, Will just hit me. He just hit me. And so I think at that point he was still in shock. And then I think he was like, all right, the show must go on. And I'm quite sure in his head he was thinking, I'm getting paid for this shit, and it is what it is. And maybe he wanted to look like the bigger person as well. Because, depending upon which way it goes, certain people are going to obviously say, well, Will shouldn't have did that. That's being a bully or whatever it may be. And they're going to say, well, Chris, he reacted so well and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people demonize Will for his reactions and saying that he needed to have his award stripped from him.
For what? His award has nothing to do with his slap. He should get a award.
Nah. When I tell you, he literally he received his award right after the slap.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
I just saw the slap a couple times.
Right after the slap, he received his award.
I don't feel like it should be stripped. Let's be.
Yeah,
I don't feel like his award
y'all has to do separate with the art from the artist in so many other fucking circumstances.
Oh, y'all do. Y'all absolutely
y'all do. Separate the art from the artist in so many other circumstances.
Yeah, I don't.
Do not use this to even attempt to make somebody a, what's the word I'm looking for? To make them a
puppet.
No.
Martyr.
Make an example.
Okay.
Yeah, don't use the situation to make him an example. Do not, because there have been so many other circumstances that you could have done that with, and you have not. Absolutely not. I don't think you should be whispering that low. Guess what? It's going to happen. All hell will be raised, because right after that happened, admittedly, I don't think no one really go checked on Chris. everyone rushed to Will's aid.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Perry came to him.
Samuel L.
No, Samuel didn't go to him.
Denzel, my bad.
Denzel came to him, and so did Tyler Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Went to him immediately afterwards to have a conversation with him.
Mm-hmm.
It was, now Samuel definitely did dap up Will, though.
Because he said,
now mind you, also because Will's Oscar win was huge.
Mm-hmm.
He was only the 5th, I don't know if it was actor, actress, or actor as a whole, like only 5th Black person to have won the Best Actor award. The last Black person to have received it was 16 years ago.
Which is crazy.
In 2006, and that was Forrest Whitaker.
That's crazy, because Samuel Jackson should definitely have some.
And Samuel did get one. However, it was an honorary one. It was not for
That's
any.
That's not the same thing.
It was not for any specific. Him and Danny Glover.
But what the fuck is what is
ones.
an honorary Oscar?
It's them looking back on their body of work and saying we missed something. And
was this announced at the Oscars?
This was not. This portion was not televised. No. That's the crazy part. Everyone
televised
they're like, we were so wrapped up in Will's speech that we didn't even see this. It wasn't because you ain't see it. It's because they didn't put it on TV.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was yesterday?
Same night.
Oh.
Same night as the Oscars. Yeah. It just wasn't televised. Like, they have photos of him getting his award.
That's trash.
But it just wasn't televised.
Oh, no.
I mean, they do that a lot. They do it at the Grammys, too. They don't televise every single award that is given.
But these are important ones, and especially he's on the 5th Black actor.
Well, no, Will's was.
Yes. So, but
Samuel's was not. And they probably don't ever televise the honorary ones.
But I don't understand why it's an honorary.
Because they don't have one. They have not given them one ever for their body of work.
That's the problem, is what I'm trying to get to.
That's their way of trying to make amends to it.
No. And to me, I don't even know if I would accept it. Like, you would want to accept it.
Samuel L. has had 150 roles and has grossed with all of his movies $27.6 billion.
He has had, because I think at one point, when they had an interview, he said he doesn't really turn down roles. He said because it helps him and it crafts him. But he said he don't turn down roles. What's the point? He's going to play the role. You an actor, that's what you're supposed to, unless obviously it goes against your morals or, whatever, your mindset, whatever. Then I get that. But if it don't, then play them goddamn roles. He played everything. And that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how he has not received one and it should be televised.
Yep. I mean, that is the same thing. A lot of people had said the same thing until, and everyone disagrees with the one movie that he did get it for was Leonardo DiCaprio.
What was that?
He got it from The Reverend. Yeah, it was the one where he was out in the woods and lived inside a bear and ate out of a bear. It was the most. I refused to watch it. It would look like the craziest movie ever. But out of all of his bodies of work, he had never received a Oscar. I mean, they just recently did give him one, but it's kind of stating the same thing. Been a part of so many classic and huge notable movies, and there's no real acknowledgement for it for you. Now, mind you, there's a huge conversation within the Black community, obviously, about wanting to get acceptance from these white shows, but these shows that are run by white people, that definitely changes your value when you have those awards.
It does.
Because once you get that, like Fat Joe said, yesterday's price is not today's price. And he was talking about people getting Grammys. Once you have that, even if you're just nominated for the award, your price tag goes up. But actually obtaining the award astronomically increases what your asking price is. Yeah. Yesterday's price is not today's price once you win those awards. So while not seeking validation is definitely something that I think should be strived for and achieved, it's also, while the industry is still very much run by white people, that's kind of hard to
not do.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Will keeps his.
So let's go ahead and wash that away. I'm sure there will be some updates with that coming along, as everything in this world, every minute there's a change or an update or someone else has an opinion. Now, I'm not going to go into, because there have been a million celebrity responses all of them equally stupid, none of which dumber than Alec Baldwin chiming in.
Oh God!
But nonetheless,
hold on, I did not know about that one.
Yes,
I know about the Jim Carrey one.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin pretty much had made a statement saying that the Oscars turned to the Jerry Springer show. Update for those who may have been under a rock or don't remember, Alec Baldwin still has a current murder investigation on a set of one of his movies.
Oh yeah.
Ongoing currently. So of all people to speak, I think he would be the one to have a seat. But I'm not really interested in necessarily any celebrity opinions. I do want to see what the awards end up doing. If Chris ends up accepting Will's apology, because Will did do an apology that was addressed to him and the Oscars. I wonder if Chris accepts it and if he decides to walk back anything that he said. If Chris, during his reflection, decides that there was anything problematic about what he said or not.
Most comedians do not.
So we'll see. Especially someone who's as old school in the comedy as Chris is. I don't foresee that because he still makes a lot of inappropriate jokes about Rihanna. So we shall see where this goes. But yes, so leading from that, I wanted to discuss a topic that I'd seen brought up. It was tweets among men that essentially said, if you're in a relationship with a woman and she starts saying things like, oh my gosh, this is so great, like I've never had anybody do this for me, apparently to a man that is supposed to read as a red flag and for them to flee. Why? Because they said that woman does not have true value of herself. She doesn't think that she is worthy or deserving, and that can manifest into more issues later on down the road. Like, I was seeing tweets that saying, like, dang, you ain't never had nobody just buy you flowers or, like, take you on a random date or anything like that. Like, homies ain't never done that for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, apparently for some reason for them, that's a red flag because she does not value herself. And sometimes because a woman does not know their value, will unintentionally ruin a good thing for themselves.
So because she says, oh, I've never had a dude do this for me, it's a red, I'm just trying to make sure I'm recapping. It's a red flag that she doesn't value herself.
Because she allowed herself to be in said situations and not get what she...
So what if she's past that and has already healed from those things?
Right. I mean, I would love to have conversations with those individuals. Because maybe certain things that you might be exposing her to, she didn't know were possible. You don't know about something until someone either you expose yourself to or someone else exposes you to. You don't know different ways to love people until they show you how to do so. You don't understand different ways to communicate until someone else shows you how to. So I think putting and saying that you introducing her to what could be a whole different lifestyle is like a red flag for her, and that she may not either be appreciative or be in a position to welcome that. Like, there are men and women, there are a lot of trash ass people in relationships. Correct. There are a lot of people who do not do the minimum to keep and to make their people feel wanted, maintain that relationship. So I don't think that because someone has not experienced like pure love in that way, that they should be discarded or believed to not like be worth you investing time in.
I agree, because I don't think that it makes sense to me. I'm not a dude, so I don't know where that comes from. But
I would think that would make them more appreciative. Like, you would maybe not have to do as much.
Exactly. Maybe it's the part that unfortunately, majority of women nowadays have to do so much on their own, and maybe that's what they're talking about. They have to do so much on their own that when a man comes in or a gentleman comes in and is like, hey, I can do that for you, there's usually some type of fight back, or what's the word, friction, maybe for a little bit. But that's because, she hasn't had that. Doesn't mean that she doesn't value herself. It's just that she's had to learn to depend on herself. which means you just have to prove that you aren't one of these other fuck boys that you used to deal with. Because a lot of dudes can come in and say, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and that. But are you consistent with it? Is that something you maintain? Or is that what you just do until you get the draws?
I think that I would much prefer to set a standard than to live up to expectations.
Correct.
Which I feel like is what you would be doing for someone who hasn't experienced the type of reciprocation that you're giving, the type of love that you may be providing.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather in the position of the male, set a standard than live up to expectations that have been set for you by some other male that was in her life.
That was like, he used to take me out to Dubai once a year.
Right. Or what you think you doing is stunting is like she's experienced better in her past, so you're not even at the level in which that she is accustomed to.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't get it. And maybe we can have that conversation with a dude and see maybe one day. But I don't understand how those, that's why I think it's very interesting how the way men and women's minds are different.
Yeah.
Because I don't get it. Like if I was a dude and a girl was like, oh my God, I've never had, anyone do that for me. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're with me now. And I'm going to show you, how you should be treated. And it's a lot of things. There's so many variables with that. She may have not been treated that way before. She could have been the one doing everything. He could have done it at the beginning and then fell off at the end. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think consistency is a key part on that too, though. Because you could say, oh, you never did that. I mean, you never had that before, but are you going to continue to do those things? Or are you just doing that at the beginning like most people do?
Yeah. Like that immediately, like the moment I read that, I was like, I've said that to someone before.
I definitely have too.
And it was the truth because prior relationships that I was in, there was very minimal effort. There wasn't like go out of their way to do something special or to do something that took more than minimal effort. And I'm like, from my perspective, I can't imagine how someone would see it as a red flag coming from my situation. So I'm like, bro, I value you so much more because you're doing things that are not like of normal or what my expectations are. So I value more of your efforts than what I would normally. And I would want to keep and continue to nourish that relationship because I want to, and it would teach me how to better reciprocate to you as well. So I can't, now I understand hurt people, but I don't feel like just not being shown certain levels of affection would immediately, or love languages would immediately disqualify you as being a valid partner. Shit's weird to me.
I don't get it, so I can't answer. I don't understand.
And I also understand, you don't understand people out here are fucking bums in relationships. You ain't never had anybody just buy you flowers. Actually, no. And
I'm quite sure that, sir,
and
you probably had a bum-ass girlfriend, and you understand. So what if I said, oh, you ain't never had a girl cook for you before? Maybe there's something wrong with that.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make fucking sense.
Right.
Because I definitely had a dude say, oh, I've never had a girl do that, and that wasn't a red flag. It was just like, okay, well, there's people that do a bunch of shit in relationships, and there's people that don't.
Right.
So I think the only thing is you want to make sure the person is not taking advantage of you. But if that's truly just who you are, it's just something that happens. Right. So I don't know. I don't get it. I can't help you. I don't know. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's interesting though.
Error.
I'm weak.
It's not computing.
I wanted. Did any women respond?
I'll have to go back. My phone was like about to die, so I really didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but shit is just fucking weird.
I would like to respond and say I'm curious on why. Like you're saying because she doesn't value herself, but what do you mean? I need elaboration. Elaborate upon this.
Yeah, let me help me understand.
Because I'm not getting it. I don't see how 1 + 1 = 2. The math ain't mathing. It's not mathing. Yeah. But yeah, y'all. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to another episode, and always make sure to
like, share, comment, subscribe, tell
everybody. And
life is tough, my dear, but so are
motherfucking you.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it like Samuel Jackson, but I can't.
No one can Samuel the way Samuel does.
That's a fact. That's the actual fact. We have to get that voice one time and just have it and just Just remember that each of you are beautiful and to never stay what?
Stagnant.
In your motherfucking life. Bye, guys. Have a great week.